Is ICE made of selfless American heroes?
Not the brave heroes of ICE.
Or are they an authoritarian threat to America?
The oppressive police state.
You'll never guess the answer. My name is Clint, this is Right versus Left, and we are here to examine what both sides say about Trump's use of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, department. And then we'll fact-check it using primary sources and raw data behind the headlines to figure out who wins the battle over whether ICE is protecting our country from a scourge of illegal immigrants, or if they're a dictator's army dismantling American democracy from the inside. If you're gonna win this fight, you first have to know what the other side is thinking. Because if you look at conservatives and all you see are a bunch of right-wing partisans rubber-stamping whatever radical policy the Trump administration has cooked up this week, you don't understand them at all. And if you look at liberals as a bunch of sore losers because their latest plan to dilute the citizenship by dismantling America's borders is backfiring on them, then you're going to lose this debate. You have to understand what the other side is thinking, because how can you find the holes in their argument if you don't know their argument? You have to listen to what they are saying if you're going to make sense of who is right about if ICE is protecting our country and our way of life, or if they're really a paramilitary force built by an aspiring dictator. Warning, this is for people who are not afraid to listen to the other side. So if you can't stand people whose opinion is different from yours, this would be a good time to bail out. If you're still here, I would love to hear from you. As I describe these different viewpoints, let me know if you think of something that we missed. The smartest people I've ever met are also the most politically savvy. My friends on the right tell me ICE isn't Trump's personal army of evil, it's just a normal government-controlled agency that is finally doing its job, upholding immigration laws. Immigration laws have been ignored for too long to the detriment of our society, they tell me, and ICE agents are out there enforcing the law, making America safer. My conservative friends tell me ICE is all about hunting down criminals. All these people that ICE agents are arresting are illegal immigrants. And though violent criminals get priority, it is against the law to be here illegally, and so illegal immigrants are breaking the law. It is a crime for them to be here, and ICE is cracking down on criminals who've been getting away with this kind of criminal activity for far too long. And the left, my Republican friends tell me, is defying the law. The left is supporting criminals. The Democrat politicians are fighting the law and siding with illegal aliens. And Democrats on the streets are organizing in order to aid criminals by following ICE agents around and warning of their approach and hindering the lawful efforts of federal law enforcement. My friends on the right tell me that all of this undermines the entire legal system, and ICE agents should be allowed to perform their duties without interference. ICE is doing what they're doing to keep America safe from people who are here illegally, many of them here to hurt American citizens. From this perspective, my friends on the right are confused by ICE protests. They honestly cannot understand what's going on there. Some told me it's just Trump derangement syndrome. A couple thought it was some sort of scheme to get more votes. They don't know, because protesting that ICE is out there arresting criminals doesn't make any sense to them. It's like if a nest of hornets have taken up residence on your back porch. Your porch is supposed to be a place to sit back and enjoy the sunset, not engage in chemical warfare with the insect equivalent of flying Hummers terrorizing your family. But then, you look over and your neighbors are leaving out sugar water and large signs that say, "Hornets are welcome here, free housing and iPhones." My friends on the right are baffled by this. They tell me they simply want a peaceful, secure country to live in, and ICE is making that happen. That's what my friends on the right tell me. My friends on the left tell me a different story. They tell me that ICE is a lot more like the administration's personal enforcement wing the government can use for whatever they want. If ICE agents are willing to grab people off the streets, harass civilians, and work TSA lines in airports, what won't they stoop to? Really though, my liberal friends tell me the tactics ICE uses to carry out their objectives are indistinguishable from some kind of secret police in an Eastern Bloc country. ICE wanders the streets, they tell me, in unmarked vehicles, with no identification, with masks and guns, and they grab people from homes and workplaces, often without warrants and sometimes against orders from judges. Democrats tell me they're terrorizing entire communities because of their tactics, and even legal citizens who look vaguely foreign are afraid to go outside. My friends on the left tell me this is wrong, and it's gone too far. ICE tactics are too harsh. causing panic and fear. They tell me actual criminals are dressing themselves up to look like ICE agents to confuse people. Like, is this guy right here a proper ICE agent, or is he a bad guy? My friends on the left tell me it's not a good thing if you can't tell the difference between the people upholding the law and the people breaking it. My liberal friends also tell me that so many people are getting picked up that the system can't deal with it properly. Some people who have been arrested are U.S. citizens, and some are authorized immigrants following the proper legal process to citizenship. They tell me people who are obeying the law shouldn't get caught up in this. They also inform me that illegal aliens have rights, and those rights are being violated. ICE detention centers are terrible places to be held, my friends on the left say, and sometimes people are held there for months, under harsh conditions. I'm told a record number of people have died in ICE custody. And before you get deported, you're supposed to be seen by a judge to plead your case. But there are so many people in the system that immigrants are being shipped out of the country without due process, and are often sent to a country they didn't even come from. And sometimes they are imprisoned in that country under conditions that make Shawshank look like a pleasant afternoon of tea and dumplings in the park. My friends on the left are very concerned about this. Those are human rights violations, they say. And though immigrants may be here illegally, illegal immigrants are still human, and they still have rights. That's why my liberal friends see this as the rise of unchecked executive authority. If nobody can make them follow the law, then what happens when they hire thousands more agents, and they arrest hundreds of thousands more immigrants? Liberals are concerned that this will result in a lot more law-breaking and human rights violations. That's what my friends on the left tell me. So that's what both sides are saying. One side says ICE is a force for good in our community, upholding the law and the American way of life. The other says they're a lawless threat in the hands of an unhinged wannabe dictator. But who is right? How do we decide who is right? How do we sort through this mess? Because when you get to the bottom of it, everyone, on the right and the left, told me they want a peaceful, safe America to live in. Nobody wants violent illegal immigrants running amok, and nobody wants people getting hurt. In fact, before we examine the differences, let me say there is a lot my friends on both the right and the left agree on when it comes to ICE. First off, everyone understood that one of the primary responsibilities of the executive branch is to enforce the law, which is why the Justice Department and the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security all run through the Office of the President of the United States. So there's nothing wrong with the existence of ICE, or even that it has more than doubled in size in the past year, or that it's going out en masse to enforce immigration laws. It's what they're supposed to do. My friends on the right are absolutely right about this. And ICE is doing it. The media on the left doesn't cover this as much, but there are plenty of really bad people who have been apprehended by ICE agents. And everyone I talked to on the right and the left said this is great. Anytime a dangerous criminal is tracked down and arrested, there are officers putting their life on the line. And that is what makes these ICE agents the heroes of America. They have brought some really bad people to justice at the risk of their own safety, and everybody I talk to appreciates that. Now, even the non-violent illegal immigrants shouldn't be here under the law. All my friends on the left ultimately agreed with that stance. Yes, most of those here illegally just want to live quiet, peaceful lives. Most of them aren't hurting anybody, and all my friends on the right personally knew of several people or families whom they suspect are illegal immigrants, and yet said these people were quiet and very nice. But unless they came through the system legally, then they really shouldn't be here. And ICE is just doing their job enforcing those laws. So what's the problem? Instead of protesting, why doesn't the left just say thank you and make friendship bracelets for ICE officers instead of following them around with their camera phones on? It's because, and this is the main point of my friends on the left, not only should immigrants obey the law, ICE officers should as well. My progressive friends tell me that ICE, while performing their duties, is also breaking the law. They tell me it doesn't matter how many bad guys they bring to justice, because if they are breaking the law to do it, then they are, by the same standard, also the bad guys. If they break the law, my friends on the left argue, ICE is no better than the criminals that they are arresting for breaking the law. Let's look into this. I spend a lot of time looking at news sources from both the left and the right, and I found a lot of reporting not just from NPR and the Associated Press, but from Fox News as well, and also from human rights groups. If you can confirm information from a variety of sources, you can be pretty sure that it's not just fake news. And there are many instances where ICE agents are breaking the law in the line of duty. Constitutional and legal violations, illegal detentions, warrantless home entry, physical abuse and criminal charges, assaulting detainees, procedural misconduct. And this is what my friends on the left are largely upset about. A couple of them, without me asking, said that they would support everything ICE was doing if they simply did it legally, because ICE has been around for over 20 years already. There are laws in place that ICE has been following for decades, and you didn't see any mass demonstrations about them until now, when they've started breaking laws in bulk. Now, my friends on the right brought up that these same laws have been broken many times under Democrat presidents. Yes, that is true. And they remind me that there are also times that laws can't be followed without harming the officer or innocent people. Those situations do happen, and there are actually laws governing those instances too. And as much as my friends on the right want as many illegal immigrants removed from the country as quickly as possible, they also largely agree that whenever possible, they want everything done legally. So everyone is mostly in agreement still. So does this mean they are an evil dictator army for not always following the law? No, that's not what it means. And yes, kind of, it actually does sort of mean that. Let me explain. You see, the main concern liberals have is not that ICE agents sometimes break the law. That's kind of to be expected. With a force of over 20,000 agents, you get some bad apples, like these guys.
Suck into this.
Suck? They're not blue?
You suck these new ones.
Hey, that's no funny. I've been trying to complain about ICE.
But the vast majority of ICE agents are just trying to do a good job. Just like with regular police officers, just like with soldiers in the military, ICE agents who choose to break the law are in the vast minority. But they are not actually the issue. Not even when interactions with ICE turned fatal in Minnesota. None of my friends on the right or left believed this meant that ICE agents were all bad in general. These instances, though terrible, shouldn't color how we see ICE as a whole. But, and this is the whole point my friends on the left are trying to make, for the left and even some of my friends on the right, it absolutely colored how they saw our government. How did our government leadership respond to these deaths? My friends on both sides point out, did the people in charge express shock that this could happen and promise a full investigation and a trial so that these things could be corrected and never happen again? Here's what I found. Did they instead justify what happened?
The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement.
Reframe the narrative surrounding the victims?
This was an act of domestic terrorism.
An attempt to grant those ICE agents blanket immunity?
And we're going to give them immunity from prosecution.
You have immunity to perform your duties. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job.
And claim ICE agents can do whatever the hell they want?
But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
My friends on the left are alleging that this is a clear sign that our administration is creating a police force meant to be unaccountable to the people and to the law. It's not the ICE agents themselves that make my friends on the left nervous. It's our government leadership. This is why they felt ICE could be used for bad purposes, because it's looking like ICE can't be held accountable for anything they do. And while some of my friends on the right expressed confidence that Trump wouldn't allow things to get too far out of hand, a couple of them thought that things had gone too far already, and they were shocked at our government's response. Speaking of our government's response, have we even given the White House power to grant immunity? Let's do a little fact-checking. Can the Trump administration grant ICE agents absolute immunity? AI says, no, the Trump administration cannot unilaterally grant ICE agents absolute immunity. But you never just believe what AI says, right? I want to hear this confirmed from a right-wing friendly source. This Fox News article says that most legal experts agree that Vance's claims are bogus. So that's probably true if Fox is willing to refute it. Apparently, you can't hand out same-day immunity like it was a shipping option on Amazon. Not everyone saw it this way, though. To some of my friends on the right, this all sounds like government leadership fiercely defending officers who are put in high-stress, split-second situations. And certainly all ICE agents involved need to be properly represented and defended. But to my friends on the left, this looks like state-sanctioned intimidation and a complete bypass of the Fifth Amendment's guarantee of due process. Because, my liberal friends point out, most of the headlines where ICE is breaking the law is because they were told to do so by their superiors. When ICE agents search without warrants, illegally arrest people, neglect detainees, and deport people without constitutional due process, these aren't the actions of rogue agents making split-second decisions. They're following orders. That, my friends on the left insist, is why they don't trust ICE to do the right thing. Whether ICE is a force for good or not, many of my friends concluded, depends on how those who control it decide to use it, to uphold the law or to break it. So what do you think? In all the ways that ICE is upholding the law, following the law, bringing criminals to justice the way the law stipulates, are they heroes and they should be acknowledged as such? But when they don't, does that make them dangerous? Or do you think they, and those overseeing them, are acting for the greater good and you give them leeway to carry out their goals as efficiently as possible to accomplish that good, even if that means the laws are sometimes sidestepped? Where do you lean? Because both sides tell me they believe in the rule of law, but the reality is that quite often our own government, both Democrat and Republican, breaks its own laws in the name of accomplishing a greater goal. So what do you think? Do you accept that as a necessary evil? Or do you go along with it only if you agree with the end results? Or only if it's your president in office? Or do you disagree with any actions that break the law, and you demand accountability no matter who did it? Myself personally, I'm a rule of law kind of guy, and that it should apply equally to the people on the street, to the federal agents wearing the badges, and to our government leaders whose job it is to uphold the law. And it honestly kind of freaks me out that we have armed forces that can hurt people with no consequences. I appreciate that we have an executive branch and a president who is trying to enforce the law, in this case, immigration laws. But I would love it if we were just above board on everything. We have good laws in place, and I think we should follow them. But when we don't, or can't, that's why we have a judicial branch. And we should allow the justice system to step in to play its role. Because not everything is always cut and dry when it comes to following and enforcing the law. But that's why we've got a court system designed specifically to figure that out. I think everyone needs to be accountable to the people and to the law, and the executive branch is meant to work with the courts, not against them. But I can hear my friends on the right saying, the courts are biased and not at all impartial, to which I say, that sounds like a future video. But this is why the country needs both sides. We need people on the right who want the law followed and enforced. That needs to be done. But that needs to be balanced by the left, and they're concerned for how law enforcement affects everyone involved, and to make sure it's done fairly, with human rights and human dignity intact. You know, that was pretty heavy. Let's talk about something lighter, like whether current executive actions are saving democracy, or if they're paving a way for a new American king. Which way are we heading? Click here to watch that video, or click here to watch all my best videos.